And so we'll be just making a start. So as normal, this event is shared on YouTube. It's currently being live streamed, so you can watch it either on Zoom or YouTube. Roughly lasting for 40 to 45 minutes. And I'll just be going a bit of an introduction into what is meditation and the technique we're using for anybody's new watching on YouTube, or you're watching, after the live event. Also, if I'm disconnected at any point, I will reconnect. So just a quick intro just into what is meditation. So meditation is actually just bringing our attention into a natural state of being. So initially you use techniques to help focus your attention on one object, say the breath or some sound or some point in the body. And then from there, as we observe that object, we lose subject and object, the duality of subject and object, and we come into our attention's fall back into its natural state, into our natural source state of being. And so just on the guided meditation we'll be using here. So we'll be using 3 different techniques, first starting with the breath, watching the breath, being aware of the breath, watching the breath coming in and out, and then following with the third eye meditation, bringing our attention to the point in between the eyebrows. And then at the end, we'll be finishing just by contemplating on our true nature and just resting, bringing our attention back to that space of being. So just if you just give me 1 second, and then we'll just be making a start. 1 second. Sorry about that. We're just taking a start now. And so just starting the meditation, just getting yourself in a comfortable posture, whether that's sitting, lying down, preferably keeping your back straight, keeping your spine straight, being alert and aware in your posture. And then just bringing your attention to the nostril area. And as you bring your attention to the nostril area, as you inhale, you can feel that sensation of air moving in through the nostrils as you inhale. And as you exhale, just feeling that sensation of air moving back out the nostril as you exhale. Just watching the breath in and out in this way, keeping your attention focused at the nostril area. Breathing in, you can feel the sensation of air coming in through the nostril. And breathing out, again, feeling that sensation of air coming back out the nostril. And with your attention at the nostril area, just simply observing the breath coming in and out, the natural breath. You don't need to alter your breathing in any way, just watching the natural breath naturally coming in and out. Each time you notice your attention is not with the breath, if you find yourself caught up in some thought, and then you realize your attention is not with the breath, then just in that moment, just see where your attention is. Is your attention with some thought, some other sound, some bodily sensation, some emotion? Where's your attention in the moment? And then just bring that witnessing awareness where you can just simply just be aware of that particular thought, that particular sensation or sense experience, and just be aware of it. And see if any parts of your identity may be coming up, parts of your own self-image, your own identity, maybe identifying with a particular thought, maybe a past memory or future projection, some emotion, some inner narrative. You may find your identity is the one which is reacts to that particular thought or experience. Just observe that. Come back to that space of just observing, witnessing, watching, and then bring your attention, gently guide your attention back to the nostril area. And again, watching the breath coming in and out. Just watching the natural breath. And as you observe the breath, there may be a background movement, movement of thought, sensations, sounds in the background. Allow more and more of your attention just to absorb, to be with the breath at the nostril area. Just being aware of where your attention is in this moment. Is your attention with the breath? Or is your attention moving to some thought? Not to feel frustrated or suppress any thought or emotion or experience. But if your attention is moving to some other experience, to some thought or emotion or sense impression, just see your attention moving to that particular object and just observe that thought appearing within your inner space or sensation or any other experience. Just watching it in the same way you watch the breath. And then bring your attention slowly back to the nostril. Again, watching the breath coming in and out. And your mind starting to calm down, body calming down, your bodily processing start to slow down, your nervous system calming down, thoughts slowing down, experiencing that space of silence, that space of presence in between the thoughts, where you simply are just aware, present, to the breath or whatever experience presents itself. In this process, you start becoming aware of the different thought patterns you're giving your attention, you're giving your energy to, the different emotions, the different parts of the identity which are reacting to these thoughts and emotions and projections and memories. Start to become more self conscious of our conditionings, of our thought structures, emotional structures, of our own identity, and any internal reaction. And we simply just watch, simply just observe whatever's occurring within us, whether it's pleasant or unpleasant. Just simply observing, simply becoming conscious of it, simply shining your own conscious light, your awareness onto the experience, and recognizing that every experience arises and passes, comes and goes, continually changing, but never permanent. Only that sense of awareness, a sense of presence or sense of existing is always there, unchanging. And the attention is moving either with the breath or to some thought or to some other sensation or experience. Attention continually moving, and wherever your attention moves to, whichever object, that object you become aware of. And each time guiding your attention back to the breath, allowing your attention concentration to deepen. And so now we'll be moving to the next technique, the third eye meditation. If you wish to stay with the breath awareness technique, then you can stick with that. If not, follow the next instructions. So, still watching the breath coming in through the nostrils. As you watch the breath coming in through the nostrils, feeling your attention and energy move to the point in between the eyebrows. And as you exhale, feeling your attention and energy start to spiral, start to gather at the space in between the eyebrows, the third eye area. Breathing in, feeling energy rising up through the nostril and from the base of the spine, energy rising up to the point in between the eyebrows as you inhale, and as you exhale, just feeling your attention and energy gather at the space in between the eyebrows, settle at the space in between the eyebrows. Feeling the breath as a flow of energy, a flow of life force energy, moving up the spine to the point in between the eyebrows, up the nostrils, and the energy gathering and the attention moving to this point in between the eyebrows. This being the third eye, helping one to see within oneself, to connect to that inner dimension of space within oneself, just as you have the outer dimension of space in which objects are held, connecting to the inner dimension of space in which the objects of thoughts, emotions, experiences, sensations, sense impressions are registered within. Even the outer impression, outer objects, and these impressions are impressed on the inner space through the senses and then registered and interpreted within the inner space. So even the outer experience is actually an internal one, as the impression touches our inner space, appears within our inner space, creates a movement in the mind. Breathing in, feeling your attention and energy move to the point in between the eyebrows. Breathing out, just feeling your attention resting at the space in between the eyebrows, feeling it activate the third eye area. And when you feel your attention has concentrated, your attention starts to move to this point in between the eyebrows, then you can stop following the breath in and out, and then just allow your attention just to rest at this point in between the eyebrows, just feeling as though you're looking inwards at this point in between the eyebrows. And you don't have to follow the breath coming in and out, and just allow your attention just to rest at this space in between the eyebrows, and just feeling though as though you're inwardly looking, inwardly gazing upwards into this point in between the eyebrows, feeling your attention absorb, move inwards from this point in between the eyebrows, and feeling as though you're looking within oneself, looking into oneself from this point in between the eyebrows, first feeling as though you're looking into your inner, into your body and inside your body, from this space in between the eyebrows into the brain, into the center of the brain, and then looking down into the body, being aware of the body posture, the skin, feeling as though you're looking into your inner organs and your inner space. And then feeling as though you're connecting to that sense of space, which is in between the body and in between the physical matter. And then feeling as though you're looking inwards into oneself, into that non-physical dimension of oneself. From the third eye, looking within into the physical, and that which holds the physical, the non-physical, the formless, feeling as though you're connecting into that dimension, the formless nature of oneself through the third eye. And feeling yourself like an infinite boundless space. Your physical body is actually held in an infinite boundless formless space. Matter is held within this infinite boundless formless space. And within that space, there's this physical body and physical sensations in the body. There may be some sensation here and there in the body, which you're aware of through the third eye as you look inwards. There may be some movement of emotion, which may bring sensations in the body, may bring thoughts, may arise. So within that inner space, there may be a movement of form, movement of thought, moving up, and then your attention moves to that. That may create a whole imagery a whole inner dimension of reality. You may be aware of parts of your identity starts to come up and react to certain thoughts and emotions. And all these appearances are just mere forms arising within your formless nature, patterns of thought, patterns of emotion, and the identity narrative, the sense of I separateness, which creates a story around the thoughts, emotions, experiences, the past, the future, time and space. And all this is just another movement of form, like smoke appearing and disappearing into the formless self. The more you focus on any particular object and perceive that as your reality, your perception narrows and you only experience your reality through that particular thought or clouded through that particular emotion or inner narrative. Now we're bringing our attention back into that formless space of being, that inner dimension of space, which holds the movement of form, in which form appears and disappears. You don't have to suppress any thought or emotion. Just see it as a mere impression, mere movement within oneself, a movement of energy, movement of vibration at different frequencies, lower density or higher frequencies. And as you perceive through the third eye, as you look inwards to the third eye, connect to that formless space, and then observe that movement of form experience within oneself. Seeing things from a higher dimension, seeing reality as it is moment to moment, breaking away from illusions of the mind, from the veil that it creates in our perception. This leads us on to the last part of the meditation, where you simply can drop any technique. You can drop the breath technique, you can drop the third eye technique. And it's just by just simply sitting, just simply being, and just recognizing that sense of awareness, pure awareness, a sense of just being present, a sense of simply just existing intuitively, just sensing that sense of just existing here now, just being here now. Before you move into any thought about who you are, or thought which projects you into the past and future, just to recognize this sense, intuitive sense of just being, just existing. Before you move into any thought, before you move into any sense of separate sense of I, just this sense of existing, just a sense of being, just this sense of life present here and now, living, expressing through this body and mind. It's just a projection, it's just a movement of life itself. Even the sense of separateness, even the sense of identity, It's just a movement within life. It's just a mask we create to interact in society. But we think we are the mask. We think we are the identity. We think we are the conditionings. We think we are the past and future memories and thoughts and projections. Although they may be dimensions of who we are, at the very essence, we're simply that just pure force of life, that pure creative expression of life, of existence, just simply being, expressing from the formless, moving into the form, and the form expressing within the formless. It's a simple way of being, innocence, simple way of just recognizing that life within you is pure, perfect, complete. Only when we move your attention back through conditioning, it goes back into the unconscious part of the identity. And that part of the identity then holds past memories, emotions, traumas, projections of the future, desires. And that part of the identity can never be complete, never be perfect, always has some limitation, some boundary, as it's of the mind, as it's of thought, is constantly changing, is never something fixed in nature. The only thing that's always with you is that sense of just simply existing. If all thoughts removed in this moment, only that remains, this sense of just existing, this sense of pure awareness, presence, recognizing, reflecting itself through this body and mind, and feeling the peace, deep peace and fulfillment, that emptiness, and within the emptiness also the fullness of life, that potential space of presence holds the creative space of the entire universe, of the entire existence within oneself. And from this space of presence, you can allow yourself to express oneself in life, allow your speech to come from this space, allow thoughts to appear from this space, allow actions to take place from this space, from a space which is more aligned to the very essence, the very source of oneself. And when you allow that impulse, creative impulse, to come from that inner space within oneself, there's a natural sense of fulfillment. There's a spontaneous movement of life, of creative energy through oneself. And only our conditioned part of ourself has its fears and inhibitions which stop that creative impulse to fully express. You may feel sudden surges of energy, of inspiration coming through oneself and flowing out from this space of being. However, the conditioned mind will try to inhibit them impulses from our conditioning, from our fears, from our anxieties. And just to bring more self awareness to the conditioned parts of the self, which try to limit that truth impulse, that soul impulse, that impulse of life moving through oneself. Try to be aware of the different thought patterns, patterns of fear, different emotional patterns, different traumas, different projections and desires of the mind, of the ego, which hold that truth impulse to flow. And that's something that takes you beyond just meditating here and now, something you can sort of contemplate and come back to, connect with oneself during your daily life and recognize from where some action or speech occurs from. Is it come from the mind, from the conditioned part of oneself, or is it coming from that truth impulse, that creative impulse of life, that source within oneself? And when you really allow the expression of oneself, of life, to move from that source space within oneself, there's a natural fulfillment, there's a natural flow, natural harmony, spontaneous in nature. And so we'll just be finishing with the meditation first, just connecting back to the breath for a minute or so, just connecting back to the body, being aware of the body, and then coming back to the breath, feeling that sensation of air coming in through the nostrils. And as you inhale, feeling that sensation of air, filling the lungs, moving the abdomen, the diaphragm, as you inhale and exhale. And just feeling the breath throughout the entire body, inhaling, exhaling. And as you watch the breath, still feeling, tuning into the source of oneself, into the soul impulse, into that truth essence of oneself. Still feeling that peace, deep sense of peace, undisturbed peace and presence within oneself. Watching the breath coming in and out, and then just being aware of the body from head to toe, scanning your attention from the top of the head, down the face, down the neck, down the shoulders, down the back spine, down the legs, and feeling any excess energy going down into the ground, releasing any excess energy down into the ground, grounding one's energy, and then bringing your attention back into the external senses, into the sense of taste, smell, the sense of touch on the skin with your clothing, with the ground beneath you, the sense of temperature on the skin, any smell, any sound, and then opening your eyes in your own time, opening your eyes. And so if anybody has any questions, I see there's another person joined on YouTube. If anybody has any questions, you can leave it in the live chat on YouTube or via Zoom. This would be every Sunday. We'll be doing a live stream at 2 p.m. British Standard Time. You can watch live, or you can always watch on our YouTube channel, where there's also previous uploads of our previous guided meditations, and also some sound meditations, and some also meditation music as well on there. So yeah, thank you for coming. If there's any questions, please do leave them. If not, we'll be ending the chat. Okay. Thank you, and see you next week, Gina. You okay?
Yeah, thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah, thank you, Priyesh. I'm sat outside. Can you see me?
Yeah.
I haven't got my camera on. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sat outside. So they've chemtrailed the shit out the sky. So it's like cloudy now. But I'm just sorting out some flowers. And yeah, thanks for that, love.
Okay. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. I mean, we could have a little chat if you like, but
Yeah, I've got 5 minutes or so. Yeah, I can end this call. I've got my sister just coming. So I can give you about 5 minutes quick call, as we ended a bit early anyway today.
yeah,
So
okay.
I'm just gonna end the call anyway, and then I'll speak to you soon.